I'm about to teach you 5 money lessons. These are the secrets I used to earn my first dollar, my first $100, my first $1,000, and then tens of thousands since then. This is not going to be your, hey, save more money on Starbucks, or your, hey, invest in a 401k and eventually you'll get rich type of advice. This is for serious people, and not only that, but turning that initial money into much more. And once you apply what you learn here, you'll finally be able to stop worrying about spending money on the small things that please you, whether that is a cup of coffee or an expensive pair of shoes. What brings you joy is unique to you, and as long as it is not something that damages your health, you should not have to give up on it just to save some extra bucks. With that being said, grab a pen, grab some paper, let's get into it. The first thing you need to understand is this. 99% of the money advice out there comes from financially illiterate people. For example, me 10 years ago. And there's only one difference between now and then. I decided that I was going to learn the language of money. That is, what money is, where it comes from, and how it works. And what you need to understand is the following. There are people in life who love you and want the best for you. But you have to ignore their advice, because they do not understand the language of money, and as a result, their advice won't be the advice that will get you closer to your financial goals. You must ignore their advice so that you're able to take care of not only you, but take care of them as well. Instead, take advice from people who are financially literate and, most importantly, have achieved the things you aspire to achieve. What you need to understand is this: you will never get there. The people who get depressed with money are the ones who think that once I make $1 million, I'll be happy. And I'm sorry to break it for you, but you won't. Money is a never-ending game. The truth is that you won't ever feel 100% accomplished when it comes to your financial situation, because there's always a next level to ascend to and work towards. When you make your first million, you'll then want your second. When you make your second, you want your first 10 million. When you make your first 10, you want multiple 8 figures, and so on. It's a never-ending cycle. Let me ask you a question. Are you afraid of money? I'm sure 99% of people answer no to that question. However, what I see very often is people who make money are super afraid to spend that money. They are so afraid to use that money the way it is supposed to be used, and they try to hold on to it as much as they can, almost trying to change the natural order of things. They are trapped in a scarcity mindset, and as a result, they try to protect it so much that the same thing ends up happening to all of them. More money never flows to them because they're so preoccupied with trying to protect what they already have that they end up getting distracted from the work that brings them the money in the first place. They end up losing it all somehow. And that's why you must be indifferent towards it. Don't be afraid to spend it, but also don't be excited about it. Money is a tool, and you should treat it as such, with indifference. You take care of it, but you don't let it get your head and guide your decisions. Most people only start experiencing their first financial success in their mid-30s, sometimes even into their 40s. And there's a reason for that. They waste their 20s jumping from entry-level job to entry-level job, from industry to industry, without ever giving themselves time to truly learn something. They focus on enjoying their 20s and just making enough money to get by and pay for their weekend activities, which is the exact opposite of what you should be doing at this age. In your 20s, you should be focused on one thing and one thing only: building. Not on partying, not on buying a car, not even on getting rich. If you manage to get rich, obviously even better, but understand this: that shouldn't be your focus. Your focus should be figuring out what is one timeless, high-income skill that you can learn and that will provide you with a lifetime of wealth once you get very good at it. I want you to take the pressure off your back of having to get rich in your 20s, and instead, I focus on getting good at one thing. One high-income skill. If that's sales, copywriting, or speaking, that's up to you. Now the same applies to partying. You can party. You can enjoy life in your 20s, and you should do so. But don't make your 20s about partying and about enjoying life. Make it about building. When first starting, people spend too much time going all around and learning 100 different things for a few weeks, so they end up having no one specific skill. Once you start making money with your newly developed high-income skill, you should also start building something else, what I call your peace of mind pot. That is, a safety net you always have to fall back on. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it does buy peace of mind when you use it right regarding all of your money problems. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say you make $100,000 a year and you only spend 30,000 of those 100,000. That means you have a very big peace of mind pot. Now let's say you're making $1 million a year instead, but in this case you somehow managed to spend 900,000 of this entire million. In this situation, your peace of mind pot is very small. You have very little room for error. If anything goes wrong, you don't have much to fall back onto. And the thing is, there's always something that goes wrong. It's just how life is. So you'll be better prepared for it. And that's why you should start building your peace of mind pot as soon as you start making your first few bucks. Well, it was supposed to be just 5, but since you've watched until this point, I'll leave you with an extra lesson. In life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you think you deserve. Because you operate and take actions based on what you think you deserve, and your actions dictate your actual life. I'm sure you know someone who, whenever gets given a big opportunity or has the chance to do something that could change the course of his or her life, manages to burn it all to the ground. Almost as if they feel the need to sabotage themselves whenever they get to a good situation. And that's exactly what happens, because deep inside, that's how they see themselves. As someone who doesn't deserve the opportunity they have been given. So they feel out of place when good things start happening to them. And as a result, they always find a way to go back to where they were before. Ground zero. If you ever felt that you have this tendency of sabotaging yourself to whatever extent it is, on small things or when big opportunities arise, know that that's why. In life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you think you deserve. And that's unnegotiable. If you enjoyed this video, then have a look at my newsletter, which is about building a reliable internet business, at the first link down below.